Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. It's that time of the week again. It's Premier League predictions time. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters are almost upon us for this weekend. And for a couple of teams, it is a big double game week. So we will be addressing the extra game as well that is to come with this round of fixtures that is going to be played out between Manchester City and Crystal Palace. But there are games that are going to be affecting the entirety of the Premier League table, from the relegation battle between West Ham and Tottenham to the race for Europe that is featuring a cluster of teams, to even the title race, which of course took a dramatic twist last weekend. Will more twists be in the pipeline for this upcoming game week? Only time will tell. Before we get into all of the talk, analysis and attempted predictions, though, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. I also encourage each and every single one of you to get involved in the comment section down below. Use and abuse that section, people, and talk to me on how you think the games will go this weekend. Give me your thoughts, comments, opinions, but most of all, of course, give me your predictions, because after all, people, where would a Premier League predictions video be after all without your predictions? Sounds good? Great. Let's kick things off then, shall we? And let's start with Saturday's lunchtime encounter that arrives from Anfield, where Liverpool will take on Chelsea. Now, normally a game of this magnitude would normally be, in my opinion, the main event of this Premier League weekend. However, there is not really a lot riding on this game, in all honesty. Champions League is pretty much sewn up for Liverpool. Not mathematically confirmed, of course, but likely to be confirmed by the end of the season. And for Chelsea, look, they're in freefall. They are looking terrible right now. But then again, so too are Liverpool. This used to be a game that would be a must-watch. A must-watch. Two fantastic teams going at it with fantastic individuals on show, brilliant moments, a rivalry, a history there. This game might be less El Clasico and more El Crapico, because I genuinely think that this could be a horrible, horrible game of football to watch between two teams that are low on confidence, two teams that are so poor to watch right now. I genuinely don't think this is going to be a great game to watch. I really, really don't. At least not in comparison to games of this magnitude and games of this caliber in previous years. I want to say Liverpool win. And if I had to pick a winner, I would probably go with Liverpool, my club, to win. Being the home team. But a lack of forward options, a struggling team, a team that basically relies on opposition mistakes. And to be fair, Chelsea do often make mistakes. So there is a good possibility that Liverpool might win this game purely based off of Chelsea mistakes. But I'm going for a draw. I've gone down the middle. I'm going to say 1-1, but I'm not entirely confident for this game from either side, to be perfectly honest with you. Moving on. Brighton and Hove Albion take on already relegated Wolverhampton Wanderers, and I've gone with a 2-0 win to Brighton. Now, of course, Brighton, past couple of weeks, just had the stuffing knocked out of them a little bit. They were on a really good run of form, and then drew to Spurs, bounced back with a win against Chelsea, lost last week to Newcastle. But this one should be a favourable game for them to get back to winning ways on, and especially with European football still being a strong possibility for the Seagulls this season, I would expect the Seagulls to get an all-important victory. Not only that as well, but when you consider that Aston Villa are through to a Europa League final, if Villa finish 5th and win the Europa League, then 6th place gets Champions League football. So that is the massive incentive needed for Brighton to go on and end the season strong, in the hope that Champions League football could be a possibility. Of course, they are relying on Liverpool finishing in 4th, for example, and Aston Villa finishing in 5th, and obviously going on to then win the Europa League. So there are other things and factors in play. But European football of some kind, regardless of what it would be a very, very good season for Fabian Hürzeler and for Brighton, of course. And I don't see them dropping points in this one. Although now that I've said it, I've probably jinxed it. So my apologies, Brighton fans, but you should be winning this game. Next up, Craven Cottage awaits the arrival of Bournemouth as Fulham take on the Cherries, the high-flying, in-form Bournemouth side that are going from strength to strength. And again, are another one of the teams that's in a big cluster of teams that are battling for European football places. Now, of course, as things stand, Bournemouth are currently... let me just double-check this. I did want to say 6th, and they are 6th. They're 6th in the table. They are 6 points behind 5th place Aston Villa. But again, a result here and a result there, going for or against them, and the entirety of 6th right the way through till about 10th, 11th changes, and conveniently in 11th are Fulham. A couple of wins between now and the end of the season in the final 3 games could really change how the table looks. There's still like I said, there's a cluster of teams that are trying to jostle for position in terms of European football. Of course, there are a lot of other mitigating factors as well. Do Crystal Palace go on and win the Europa Conference League? Do Chelsea fall outside the top 7 but go on to win the FA Cup, so securing European football for themselves? What about the Aston Villa situation, as I mentioned earlier? So there's a lot of mitigating factors in terms of European football, but Bournemouth, they're probably the most informed team right now in the Premier League. They are probably the most informed team in the Premier League right now. Andoni Iraola is going out on a high. He's seemingly got his heart set on going out on a high, and what a way to end his reign as the Bournemouth head coach, by giving them some form of European football by the end of the season. I don't see their unbeaten run coming to an end here. I'm going with a 3-1 win in favour of the Cherries. Next up, the Stadium of Light welcomes Manchester United for the first time since obviously coming back into the Premier League. I've gone with a 2-1 win to Man United. Now, Sunderland have made the Stadium of Light an absolute fortress this season. It's been the bedrock to why they have managed to maintain their Premier League status for this campaign. But past several weeks, the wheels have kind of fallen off a little bit. They've kind of hit a bit of a reality check. So late on in the season, better to hit it late on than early on and not being able to recover. So it's been alright for Sunderland this season. They've battled hard and they could still get a point, I guess, from this game. But I just think that Man United, they've already secured top 5. They've already secured Champions League football for next season. So that's at least a positive for United. There might not be any more extra incentive to go on and push the boat out or go any further than that. They've got their job done as far as what this campaign goes. But maybe to somewhat solidify a 3rd place finish might be something that they look to go on and achieve in this particular moment. And let's be real, they might not even need to do that depending on how the Liverpool game goes earlier on in the day. But yes, for United, for certain players, it might be personal goals. For example, Bruno Fernandes has still got that assist record in his sights. I would imagine that he will break that by the end of the season, and I reckon he'll at least get 1 assist in this game. I know that I don't think they gave him the assist last weekend for the Benjamin Sesko one against Liverpool. So, again, I feel like there's an extra incentive there for Bruno to redeem himself for obviously missing out on that one last week. But look, Sunderland, like I say, they pose a good threat. They've got some decent players in their ranks. And like I say, maybe, I say that, but maybe they just catch Man United on a day where they're not so bothered. They're not so bothered about what happens. They've already done their job as far as what they're concerned. And maybe it will be a case of, Sunderland might just catch them on a day where they're trying new things, experimenting, or just kind of taking their foot off the gas a little bit. For Sunderland, they're still in the kind of realms of maybe European football for next season. They're not miles and miles away, but of course, with 3 games left, the margin for error is very, very thin. Still a possibility. There's still a bit of incentive there, but it's been a very good season regardless for Sunderland. They've managed to achieve their own goal of staying up in the Premier League. But yeah, I'm going for the extra firepower that Man United have as being the difference maker on the day. Next up, the first of a doubleheader for Manchester City as they firstly take on Brentford in the Saturday evening kickoff, and I've gone with a 2-1 win in favour of City. Massive game this one from City. Obviously, they want to redeem themselves from that 3-3 draw they suffered at the hands of Everton on Monday night. And, of course, to apply a bit more pressure on Arsenal before they take on West Ham on Sunday. I can see City dropping points. I really, really can. I've gone with a win because I think that maybe the pressure being off City at this point might just give them a bit of freedom to go on and maybe get a win and maybe keep things a little bit more interesting as we head into the final couple of games of the season. But I can genuinely see Brentford being a thorn in their side. And it wouldn't be for the first time either. Brentford have been a thorn in City's side over the years, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. City, it depends what City side is going to turn up. Is it going to be a City side that is going to be extremely clinical? Is it going to be a City side that is going to be creating opportunities but not putting them away? It really depends on which City side in terms of the attack really does turn up, because if they're clinical, they could easily put Brentford to bed. If they're not, Brentford will have a very good opportunity at further handing the title to Arsenal going forward. And that is going to be massive considering, like I said earlier, City are involved in a double game week this week. I've gone with City winning, but it won't be necessarily all that convincing. Next up, Sunday's games, and first and foremost, we've got action from Turf Moor where Burnley will be taking on Aston Villa. I've gone with a 2-1 win in favour of Aston Villa. Big win for Villa this, but in terms of solidifying their top 5 Champions League status for next season. But in saying that, there is a Europa League final on the horizon. And after the efforts that they put in midweek against Nottingham Forest, maybe it's going to be a rotated side. Maybe there's going to be, again, similarly to Manchester United, a bit of a leniency on putting the pedal to the metal. Pedal, whatever. You guys don't know what I mean. In Unai Emery's camp. So maybe Burnley can get a little something from this. I know obviously it doesn't mean anything because they're already relegated. But the fact of the matter is that Burnley have an opportunity to at least make a decent fight of it, show a bit of pride, that kind of thing. But I would firmly expect that a rotated Aston Villa side, keeping things a little fresh, not maybe going too hard, but going just enough to obviously solidify themselves in the top 5 for next season would possibly be on the cards for when these two teams meet on Sunday. Action from Selhurst Park next, where Crystal Palace will take on Everton, and I've gone with a 2-0 win in favour of the Toffees. Everton, again, one of a number of teams that's in a cluster of teams to try and make it into Europe for next season. A win here and a win there between now and the end of the campaign could do David Moyes' side absolute wonders going forward. Whilst Crystal Palace, they're probably going to be mainly focused on the Europa Conference League. Again, they are a team that is safe and sound. They are not really pulling up any trees in terms of anything beyond that point. Really, there's nothing to suggest that, you know, they're only going to be fighting for points and places, maybe, between now and the end of the season. They're not going to be qualifying for anything. But, like I say, they've got a Europa Conference League final to think about. So, with no incentive for Palace, it probably does mean that Everton should be able to put these aside and get a massive 3 points in the Toffees season, whilst Palace can, similarly to Villa, rotate and just keep things moving until they get to that Europa Conference League final. I don't think Palace really care about the rest of the season until they get to that final, which means that whoever faces them between now and the end of the season, i.e. City, Everton, Arsenal, will probably have an easy ride between now and then. Next up, City Ground welcomes Newcastle as Nottingham Forest take on Eddie Howe's Magpies, and I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Forest will obviously be disappointed from midweek, the midweek clash of Aston Villa that ended in them getting absolutely battered by Unai Emery's side and knocked out of the Europa League. Whilst Newcastle, of course, it's been a poor season by their standards. It's not exactly gone to plan. It's been poor. Big win last week against Brighton. And again, like, you know, it's a slim opportunity at European football. If they manage to win all their games between now and the end of the season, they probably want to give their fans something to at least cheer about, to cling on to for the beginning of next season. But yeah, it's been a season to forget as far as what Newcastle are concerned. And look, maybe they could go on and win this game. There's a strong possibility that could genuinely happen. But away from home, they haven't exactly been great. Forest might want to just put any lingering doubts aside of being dragged into the relegation dogfight. Although their recent Premier League form has actually been not too bad at all. So, I mean, they should survive anyway. But just in case there are any lingering doubts, maybe they put Newcastle away in this one, just to secure themselves, just to secure their Premier League status. But yeah, I'm backing a draw. I'm calling it down the middle. Another one I'm calling down the middle is the game between Tottenham and Leeds, and of course this has big significance because this is Spurs in a relegation battle. Leeds safe and sound, in my opinion. They are done and dusted as far as what this season is concerned. They are safe and sound. Nothing to necessarily worry about, but again, a win wouldn't be amiss just in case things did go horribly, horribly wrong for Daniel Farke's side. But it's been a brilliant season for Daniel Farke and for Leeds. He's actually produced some incredible results, and I think he's defied a lot of people's expectations of what Leeds United were predicted to do this season. So fair play and full credit to him. Leeds kind of informed. They've got some good results under their belts in recent weeks, and you know, even then, when you look at their opponents in Spurs, you wait all 2026 for one win and then two come along at once. Back-to-back wins against Brighton and Aston Villa have really given signs of life to a Tottenham side that was seemingly down and out a fair few weeks ago. Roberto De Zerbi seemingly breathed a bit of new life into Spurs and at least got them to a point where they're winning games. Now, you can obviously pick faults. You can obviously go back and go, well, certain circumstances have helped Spurs. For example, a rotated Aston Villa side or a Brighton side who showed their inconsistencies. You know, whatever. Like I say, a Wolves side, not Brighton. They drew to Brighton, they obviously beat Wolves. A Wolves side that were already relegated. You know, you can go back, but you've got to beat what's in front of you. And that is what Spurs have done over the past couple of weeks. I'm calling it down the middle. I'm going for a draw. Again, Spurs have the extra incentive because they've actually got something to genuinely fight for. Leeds, not so much. But again, if they want to give their fans something to capitalise on for a job well done this season, then maybe they can also condemn Spurs to another loss. Now, luckily, West Ham don't exactly have a favourable game this weekend, so maybe Spurs could get away with it this week. But, of course, when you look on the horizon for Spurs, games against Chelsea and Everton in their final two games aren't exactly easy games either. So this would represent the more favourable game for Spurs going forward. But whether or not that turns out to be the case, only time will tell. I'm calling it down the middle. I'm going for a draw. I think they'll battle hard. It could be a very interesting game. One I'm actually looking forward to for Monday night's encounter. Jumping ahead to Wednesday. And it's action from the Etihad, where Manchester City will take on Crystal Palace in City's game in hand. Now, of course, this is dependent on whether or not City win their game, and obviously depends on what Arsenal do on Sunday as to whether or not this game will have any major significance in the Premier League title race. But City will finally get to play their game in hand. City against Palace. As I mentioned earlier, this should be a win for City. Much more easier, I think, to predict than maybe the Brentford game. We know how awkward Brentford could be in comparison to Palace, who, like I say, are probably going to be just playing out the season for pride purposes and obviously to try and just keep the engine ticking over, so to speak, in terms of the players, rotating them and obviously getting them prepared and ready for the Europa Conference League final. I would expect City to go on and win this game. But does that have any significance in the title race? Considering that what might happen between City and Brentford, and then of course this game, and what I believe to be the biggest game of this round of fixtures, the main event of this Premier League weekend. It is action from the London Stadium, a London derby where West Ham United will be taking on Arsenal, the Premier League leaders, a team that is 5 points clear at the top of the table with 3 games remaining. Surely, Arsenal cannot bottle this Premier League season from this position. Surely, even the biggest known bottle jobs of Arsenal Football Club, second place FC, second again Ole Ole, surely they cannot lose this position from here. I would love it if they did. I would absolutely love and adore it if Arsenal did go on to lose it from this position. It would be hilarious to me. It would be funny. It would be absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant if they did. But I can't see it happening. And let's be honest here, people, as well, that if there is going to be a team that is going to stop Arsenal in the remaining 3 games of this Premier League season, the more likely one is going to be West Ham. When you consider that Arsenal have got already relegated Burnley and a Crystal Palace side, who I will mention again, have a Europa Conference League final on the horizon, you should probably know that the only team with any real incentive of stopping Arsenal for their own gain is going to be West Ham. It's going to be West Ham. But West Ham purely aren't good enough. And not only that as well, but Arsenal have seemingly picked up a second win from somewhere. It wasn't so long ago against Bournemouth. We were questioning the motivation of Arsenal. We were questioning, are they really all there mentally? Are they there physically? Have they run out of steam at a crucial moment? And then over the past couple of weeks, they've just managed to rediscover that energy. They've picked up a second win from somewhere. The Champions League semi-final, I think, has also helped gain them momentum as well. It's been a big couple of weeks. Victor Gyökeres has finally arrived to the party, a very crucial moment, and I would expect him to have a vital say in the game on Sunday. But, yeah, Arsenal should be fine here. Arsenal should go on and win this game. And again, heap more pressure on City to either maintain, try and keep up the pace, to try and win their game in hand. Or maybe by this point on Sunday, Arsenal could wrap up the title. They could wrap up the title this Sunday. 5 points clear right now. If City lose and they win, that's 8 points. And then all it takes is for them to drop points against City or for Arsenal to win their next game. And that's it. Premier League champions. Signed, sealed and delivered. All confirmed and official. Big weekend for Mikel Arteta and his Arsenal side. I would expect them to go hell for leather. No prisoners. Just go for the kill. Something that Arteta doesn't exactly know how to do. But surely this weekend he has to go for it. Has to go for it this weekend. Like I say, I'm hoping and praying for a massive upset. It'll be the funniest thing in the world for me. But I can't see it. Just a quick question as well for Spurs fans. Who do you want to win this weekend? Who do you want to win? You obviously want Arsenal to win to help your relegation woes out. But you also don't want Arsenal to win because it helps them to win a title. And you can't say draw either. That's cheating. You can't say draw. If you had to pick one or the other, Tottenham fans, which one would you choose? A West Ham win or an Arsenal win? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts, comments, opinions, but most of all, of course, your predictions. Because after all, people, where would a Premier League predictions video be, after all, without predictions? As always, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video. And I will see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.